No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with your hosts, Cathal and Will. Another big week, as always, Will.
Well, not as always, because last week we were on the verge of never watching football again.
Yeah, like spoiled children. We had one bad week and we thought the game was gone and the league needed to end and we were all sick and tired of it. But back to big games and big results.
Now the games are fun again, so we're back.
Yeah, coincidentally, Arsenal and Man United both won, and we think it's all right with the world.
Best league ever.
And like I've done this a few times, but like the only logical place to start really is Arsenal this week. What is it about derbies that, regardless of form, like there can be any? I used to think it was about the fans because like there was the energy and the animosity. You couldn't help feed off that, but there were no fans. There were no fans out of the stadium. There haven't been fans for ages. There won't be fans for ages. But Arsenal put in probably their best performance all year, I would say, against Spurs.
Maybe it's just now the threat of fans on social media more than anything. They'll really come for you. I don't know. I think it's just probably
like, do they care about the club?
But like, why would Odegaard care about like Arsenal versus Tottenham?
That's what I thought. I thought like it's all just marketing, advertising. These are millionaires from all over the world. Like they have no connection to think. But maybe if you're just in the training ground, there is like an atmosphere there to think we really need to win this game against Spurs. Like
for the fans,
for just like for Arsenal, like you get kind of sucked into a cult-like thing of no, this is important. Like why? I don't know what it is. So we have to play well. The only thing is, then Spurs played so badly. You think, well, where's their cult-like following the Spurs? So I mean, I don't know, but
it's an odd one, yeah.
Maybe Spurs thought Arsenal playing so badly and we're playing so well that we're going to walk this.
That's what happens every time Man United play Arsenal under Ollie. Seems like every time going into that game, all the talk is like, oh, here we go. We're going to rip them apart 8-2 again. And then we always lose or come very close to losing every time.
Yeah. Well, like I say, it was a great game for Arsenal. Spurs. Now, look, for anyone who didn't see the game, Son went off, 18 minutes in?
Yeah.
And when Kane and Son are playing well together, they tend to score goals. When they're not, or one's not playing, the other one doesn't seem to be as effective. But Lamela came on.
Boy, did he ever.
Scored, I think, his second goal for Spurs, the second Rabona.
It was unbelievable.
He was all right. It was pretty okay. I mean, look, the first Rabona he scored was great because he was a young player. It showed imagination. It showed he wasn't afraid to try things on the football pitch. But now it just shows me a player who hasn't moved on in the last 7 years. Still the same player. Still doesn't have
very
right foot.
one-footed, yeah.
Yeah, that's all. You know, he hasn't progressed past. And that was the only shot they had on target in the first half. And Lamela would go on to get sent off, which actually spurred Spurs on to start playing well and could have beaten Arsenal at the end.
All right, he's gone. Did you see Reguilon celebrating after Lamela's goal? Hands on his head, screaming like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, bit much Reguilon. You know, I mean, come on, get over yourself. Well, look, when it comes to one-footed Argentinian footballers, I will take Messi 2006, 2008 over fucking. Funny enough, like that was his first red card for Spurs, which seems insane to me.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would be. He definitely deserved one.
He deserved a lot of them. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the 6-1 against United at the start of the season, where him and Martial butt heads.
Oh yeah.
But Lamela went down and Martial stayed standing, so Martial got a red card. Lamela got nothing, but they did the exact same thing. Like they both put their heads down.
He should have been retrospectively, reprimanded for lack of honor.
Banned for life.
He showed no honor in that game, going down like that. Someone else who showed no honor, no effort, no pep, no zip.
No eye of the tiger.
Flat track bully Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
That's right, everybody. That's why Real Madrid let him go. And the thing, the worst thing is, for us anyways, Doherty was getting all the blame.
Doherty? Really?
Yeah. Doherty was getting torn apart for that game. His worst game ever for Spurs and stuff like that. It was really...
But Bale was just standing up front. He wasn't tracking back. Like Smith Rowe probably would have got the better of him anyways. He did have a good game. He's been playing well. But then you have Tierney, who's probably Arsenal's best player these days.
Yeah. Also
doubling up down that wing. Bale stands hands and hips at the top of the pitch, making no effort to get back. He got taken off before 60 minutes, Bale. He was playing terribly. Yeah. Like all the people were like, oh, Doherty, he's just... His bad year continues. Like he's 2-on-1. Anybody would get skinned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you really don't know what you're getting from Bale week in, week out. I know that's always the story when he came, but it felt like he'd kind of turned it and was like, okay, now we're really seeing Bale. Then he just goes right back to walking around the pitch against Arsenal.
Yeah, he's like the most, like he's so big and so strong. But he's the most passive-looking person I've ever seen. Like when he came off the pitch, he was like you couldn't tell if he was like interested or sad or like annoyed. He was just like so disconnected from the game when he came off. Because when Son goes off, it's like all right, Son and Kane. That's kind of the
Bale has to step up.
That's when you need to say, all right, well, at least we have Gareth Bale still on the pitch.
Yeah.
I'm placing all the blame at Gareth Bale's door. So don't at me next time, Bale.
Yeah, stop atting him.
That's good. That makes no sense. And I'll say there was controversy in that game too. At the start of the game.
Did you think it was a penalty? I saw people saying it wasn't, but I thought it definitely was. He went flying in.
Again, I think he should be retrospectively reprimanded for being a shit footballer. Like he totally skied that. He missed it, totally whiffed it on that thing, and then Sanchez was coming in with the intention. Well, he was just thinking it's probably a safe bet. Think that this professional footballer will kick this ball
straight
at the goal. So I'm just going to, jump in front of where the ball should be. As a professional footballer kicking the ball, and he misjudged that totally because he went up in the air and then he went into the outstretched leg of Lacazette. And the key giveaway to a dive is when both arms go up in the air and both knees buckle forward, because that's not how you fall unless someone kicks you in the back.
Literally, that's how you dive into a pool.
Just hands up, legs back. No, unless they were like shot him in the back. Like he came in the front, so I don't know how he'd fall forward.
It is literally hands as wide as you can, legs so that the ref really sees you're falling.
Yeah.
It's like, look.
I think he probably messed up and then he thought, well, this is a good chance to go down. Like, probably more to blame him rather to get the penalty, just to cover his own arse before anything else.
The old miss a shot and pretend to be hurt thing.
He tackled me. I couldn't even. But I was actually talking about the Aubameyang disciplinary era. It was before the game. He showed up late to the game. Is that what it was?
Yeah, he was late to the North London derby as captain. What are you doing, man? Just get on the bus. How are you late? Do you not all arrive together? Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. That it was a home game. Even if it was a away game, it'd still be in London. But at least you think there's probably like a bus to get to that you would all go together. I think for Corona, they're doing like, I think the whole team goes on 3 separate buses to social distance or whatever. But maybe it's late to the bus. I don't know. Yeah. But late for school. He was like, oh, fuck. But I'm assuming he probably lives in London. You would think, yeah. Surely it's close walk to it. If it's like, I don't know. That does seem, and apparently it wasn't the first time, apparently. Yeah, he did say something weird at the pre-match interview. He was like, this is, he knows what kind of person he is, he knows what he's done, kind of, or something like that. Like, and again, some of these things to be lost in translation. But it's kind of like it felt like this isn't the first time he's, showed up hungover. Yeah. But for it is the biggest game of Arsenal's season, and your captain. Come on, man, get there on time. Like, that's why I think why would they care? They don't care. Aubameyang doesn't care. He's the captain of that team, but the other players decided, no, we're going to really win this game. But surely there's going to be some feelings in the Arsenal team then about, well, fuck it. Like, why is he captain? and he's doing that, and like we're showing up, we're winning the game without him. Surely now that's going to cause a bit of issues. Like,
it probably would, but I mean, who do you give the captain to instead?
Tierney, maybe. I don't know. He's very young.
Yeah,
isn't he?
that feel. I don't think that young. I think that's probably the natural progression. What age is Aubameyang? Like 32, 33?
30, yeah, he's 31 or 32, something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he'd probably go anywhere with the form he's been in. I don't think anyone would be queuing up to sign Aubameyang, but you could see the captaincy going to Tierney now, maybe end of the season. See, in the league, there's nothing at stake, really. It's more the kind of the Europa League. So, but like I say, if he's always like this, if you think, oh, that's just Aubameyang, that's what he's always been like. When he was scoring goals, he wasn't. He's always just kind of a bit lackadaisical. But yeah, it was interesting because it was like a test for Arteta in a way. Kind of like, well, what's if a player turns up to the biggest game, turns up late to the biggest game of the season, what are you going to do? Even if he's your best player and your captain, like benching him is kind of a power move for him.
Yeah.
A little bit. But yeah, that brings ours up to 8th, I think. So that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Up ahead of Aston Villa. Keep Aston Villa at arm's length.
as long as Grealish isn't playing, Villa are going nowhere. They're plummeting.
And Spurs, I mean, they were talking about an outside bet for the top 4. Don't know about that anymore.
That's not good for José. Like, they spent in the summer, which is something they rarely do. And to be worse off than they were, that's no good.
I'd say the biggest concern is probably losing players. Son and Kane. I mean, if they finish 8th, they don't win the Europa League, don't win any cups again. I mean, where would you go if you're Harry Kane from here? I know it's your hometown club and all that, but like he's 27, 28 this year.
He really has one. Well, like he technically should have one big contract left. Obviously, players now are kind of playing a bit longer when they're really good. Like Ronaldo and the likes, but I don't know, like surely you want the last one to be, this is the one where I kind of make my mark rather than just same old at Tottenham. Like, obviously he loves Tottenham, but
yeah, but to win something, I mean, he scored so many goals to, you know, like the Alan Shearer comparison people make that he stayed at Newcastle at the end, but he had won the Premier League at Blackburn.
And like he got like there's a statue of him outside Newcastle Stadium and stuff because he's such a legend at the club. Like,
if Harry Kane had won the Premier League title in 15-16 when they should have won it, I think he could be there forever.
Yeah,
but because they haven't and they don't look like they will, like they don't look like they're going to catch up on City in the next year or two.
No, they look worse off than they were a year or two ago. Like, they're in the Champions League final. Remember that?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
But you just know, it always feels like with Jose, we're only a few games away from it all really going south. Like I don't think he's lost any of the team yet. Really, maybe Delhi.
No,
it always feels like you're 2 or 3 losses away from him being like, do you know what, Harry Kane's a fucking idiot, and then it just kicks off. Like,
well, he did his best to throw his players on the bus.
He always does, yeah.
He said the only thing worse than my player's performance was the referee's decision.
No post-match interview from the ref. Pity.
Yeah. The other, I think, in terms of manager sackings and all that stuff, Chris Wilder.
Yeah.
Wilder out.
Man, like, why wasn't this done? If you're going to do it in like December. Why are we waiting until like 14 points in the league and it's nearly done? Like get rid of them.
And usually, just in case you missed that little joke there, there's like Wilder out.
I did miss it. That's always a good sign of a joke.
We can cut that. We'll just leave in the explanation. That'd be even better. We'll leave the initial joke and cut that. Well, they were gone for so long that people are like, they're just preparing for the championship. Kind of like when Burnley went down, they kept Sean Dyche and they came back. Yeah. And like Norwich this year, they have the same manager. They look like they're going to come back right back up again. Like Chris Wilder brought them from League One up to Premiership. Yeah,
I remember he was talking not too long ago about, he was like, well, at least I don't have to deal with VAR in the championship. Well, now you definitely don't.
No, you definitely don't, pal. Well, he might. I mean, he might get bought by like something like West Brom or something like that.
There must have been some falling out or something then.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. There could have been some kind of meeting where he seemed a bit too chipper, and they went, "Do you realize we're getting relegated? And so your fault." He went, "My fault." You know. But like he would have got them back up. I would say he will get somebody back up again.
Yeah.
Chris Wilder. And there is a reality to it. Like everyone wants to go from all the way up and like a
and stay.
the what's that the manager game, Premier League manager game was called
Football Manager, like
Football Manager. Yeah, like everyone wants to be like Football Manager, where like you go up the divisions and you win Champions League with Luton, but like it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
like that was it seems kind of like a bit condescending. Listen, Sheffield, you should be fucking happy to be there, but like in a way, like it's a great achievement to be up there and to stay up there a year. And this was a mad year, the way things fell and no fans, all that stuff, which is a huge part for a smaller team.
Last year they were so good as well because it's so hard to score in their stadium because their fans were all well up for it. They were really well set up, and yet they just totally lost that this year. Like,
so I think you probably deserved another chance to keep going, to bring up next year to see how things might be different next year. The only thing that you would say in terms of sacking him was that he brought in Ryan Brewster and Ollie McBurney, who have combined one goal between them
for big money as well. Brewster was like 20 million.
I think 40 million for the two of them together for one goal. So from that aspect, you do kind of live and die by your big money signings, especially at the lower league, because there's not much money to toss around. So but even still, I think he could have done with another year, or at least to give him a chance in Championship. If they'd started badly in Championship, maybe then you sack him.
Then you go.
Unlucky for him. But usually, when you sack a manager, there's kind of a jump, a bounce. Yeah, the new manager bounce. Usually because they've lost the dressing room and no one wants to play for them as a new manager. Oh, we're all delighted that we have a new kind of thing. Yeah. Quite the opposite.
Yeah, because it feels like they probably liked him and they're like, oh, fuck me. Now it's worse.
Yeah, 5-0 to Leicester, who do have that in their locker to hammer a team.
Yeah.
It was a really, really bad. That was the worst performance all year.
Definitely, easily. Like, I feel like the first half of the year, they were bad, but they were quite unlucky a lot of the time, but they just got hammered.
Hammered here. Jamie Vardy with 3 assists, Kelechi Iheanacho with 3 goals.
He's an odd player because he seems like. Remember, he was like going to be the big thing when he was at City. It was like him and Rashford were the talks. Then he just disappeared for a while, but he always pops up now and again. You're like, oh, remember him?
He's putting together a decent season at Leicester in terms of goals. That was his first hat-trick, and he dedicated to his mum, who died when he was 14 on Mother's Day. Very touching too, if you didn't see it.
No, it's really nice.
And as well, this podcast is actually dedicated to all the mothers out there.
All the moms.
All the moms listening here, all the dog moms, the rabbit moms, the human moms, all the moms, all the baby mamas. This one's for you. But yeah, Leicester secure, I think, probably the top 4 with that win. I say it every week. I say secured promotion, secured safety, secured top 4.
And then the next week they'll lose.
That's just because I don't have many words in my brain. So I say words that don't actually fit, but it's the closest I know to it. It was a good win for them in terms of their hopes of top 4. They're still in third now, and they keep Chelsea and West Ham, I should say, at arm's length. Big win for them. Do you think that Jamie Vardy would go back for England if they call him back? I mean, he's playing well still. Like Harry Kane is kind of
but I don't know, worn out. The squad is so good. Like, I wouldn't. If I was Southgate, I don't think I'd be bringing Vardy because like they've so much choice up top, and Vardy's getting on a bit. Like,
but still playing well,
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I don't think I'd bring him anyway. I'd rather bring one of the younger lads and kind of set up for the future rather than. Have, I don't know, like Calvert-Lewin or someone have to sit at home and be like, well, we're bringing old Vardy with us still, like when he was doing that. He's kind of dropped off a bit now. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Like it's always the way when you don't bring someone. I know he's kind of semi-retired, so I don't want to go sit on the bench. So he's kind of like absolved Southgate that. But I mean, if they go on like Harry Kane is bet from playing every single game of with Spurs. Calvert-Lewin the same with Everton, like so many games being played, and you have Vardy at home, who's probably maybe second or third top scorer.
Yeah.
And in terms of bringing someone on with energy, that's exactly what you want. So I don't know, but
don't know also if you'd want to bring him if he said like, I don't want to sit on the bench, you'd kind of be thinking, well, it's not your call.
Yeah, fair enough. But just in terms of like the being loyal to a club in Wilder's case and being with them a long time, have you come across, I think Newport County's Kevin Ellison?
I didn't know his name until you mentioned it and now I've remembered the Screaming Man.
The Screaming Man, yeah. You kind of see him. He's a bald man, but he's jacked. Like, so it's hard to tell. He could be any age from 27 to 38. He's actually 42.
Older than the old bracket we said.
Any age except the age he actually is. They got a win there. Well, the story is, right, he scored a goal and he runs the length of the pitch to shout in his old manager's face. And I think, whoa, there must be some backstory there, and there is. He was with Morecambe last year. He served him, I think, for 9 years from 2011-2020. I think with 391 appearances, 88 goals. It's not a bad return for a man who was at the end of his career even then.
At all, yeah. Yeah, who seems like he was probably in his
33
30s
then. He's like, winding down. Still scored a bang goals for them in League League Two. He, 42 is kind of thing, you don't retire. You stop getting picked if you're still playing at that stage. He stopped getting picked and he was made train on his own for a year before being released. So, I mean, I don't know what that was about. I mean, sure, you could just let him see out the contract, give him the Lapis Stadium. Just don't play him.
Would you not want the 42-year-old veteran kind of around the train?
You might think so.
Help the young lads.
Maybe he said to him, look, I'm not going to play more than 10 games a year. We're trying to move forward into the future kind of thing, but you might play a few games, happy to have you on the training ground. He said, you know who I am? I'm Kevin Ellison. I've scored 88 goals for this club in the last 9 years. So maybe there's a falling down. He said, look, man, if you're going to be like that, you're going to train your own and I'll let you rot.
You'll never see me again.
I thought maybe he might retire out of, just...
embarrassment.
Embarrassment, just being tired, I don't know. But he's back again.
Maybe he'd drop off. He was hoping he'd drop off at old age.
I think Derek Adams rued the day he messed with Kevin Ellison as he shouted in his face after scoring a goal in a 3-1 win.
He ran so far to roar in his face as well.
Some great picture of it because the man's like trying to ignore him and he's like roaring in his face. So good. The other big Premier League news, Ollie's at the wheel for the next 5 years, 3 years. How was it?
Was it extension for a while? It's usually managers are usually 3 years at United. They did a whole restructure of the club pretty much. They got promoted Darren Fletcher to technical director, which I'm not fully sure what that means. I think he's in charge of like the staff and stuff. And then John Murtaugh, who was in charge of the academy and the women's team, which are both doing really well, especially the academy. He's kind of oversaw that. He signed like 10 wonder kids in the last few years, it feels like. And now he's in charge. He's the director of football, so he's the head of negotiating deals, which is what United have been crying out for since Fergie left. Because that was what Fergie did. He did everything because he was a psycho. But he did 3 people's work, so now they've divided
Not
it
the most experienced or qualified people for any of the roles.
No, probably the people that were the people that are least likely to kick up a fuss. If
that's definitely the cynic view online that these are just yes men, Ollie included in that.
Yeah, well, but I always think, of course, Ollie's going to be a yes man. There's no way he should have that job, really. He's doing great. I think he's doing way better than expected. But there's the reason he has that job is because Woodward knows this is his dream. He's never going to do anything against me. And if he starts kicking up a fuss, fans will be like, yeah, he's right. But a lot of fans are going to be like, I hope he goes. I fucking...
Well, you know who kicked up a fuss? Louis van Gaal. Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, Van Gaal was out walking back with the FA Cup, as we've said before, in his hands.
Because they've asked for centre backs for years. They asked for striker.
There's been no right winger at the club since even before Valencia, because Valencia was turned to a right back. So in 7 or 8 years, they haven't signed a starting right winger, which is mental. It's a part of the team. That makes such a difference.
Yeah, not the inspired kind of signings you would have thought for United. Darren Fletcher, not the technical director. Was he the most technical player? Or he kind of something tried very hard and
see, apparently he was really good, all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I would have hired people based on their track record rather than they know the United way.
Yeah, now we're back to the cult kind of thing of just being United, you know what it means. It's well, there's more to it than that, but always at the wheel. They're still in second though, United. They won again against
to be honest.
West Ham.
I was convinced that seemed like everything was set up. Everyone else dropped points. Chelsea dropped points. Whenever that happens, usually United also drop points because they go, oh, we don't have to worry about it, thank God. We'll go again next week. But yeah, that was a big win. And mostly because West Ham played like they were in League Two for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's the David Moyes criticism, that he lacks ambition in the big games and tends to sit back and be afraid that they might score. And
literally any time a team goes at United at the start of a game, they instantly score. It happens all season. Like Sheffield did it. Everyone did it. West Ham didn't have a shot on target, I think, all game.
Yeah. Like we're saying, the top four's kind of taken shape in terms of top three anyway. Like City, obviously, Leicester and United. City as well. I mean, I know they're playing Fulham, but who we have decided are a good team, a decent team,
really good,
pretty okay manager, going well. Just beat Liverpool. Man City didn't start Sterling, didn't start De Bruyne or Gundogan, or Laporte, and won handily. Just to hammer them.
Remember last week we were like, will City maybe collapse?
That was wishful thinking just for our own sake, because from the talk about they just beat Fulham very easily. And bad for Fulham because Brighton also beat Southampton. They play good stuff, Brighton. They play the goals they score, when they do score them, are really good goals.
Yeah, they always are. They're fun to watch as well, but they just weren't scoring for ages. They're way people hate it, but their XG was really big, and then their actual goals was tiny.
I was thinking whoever goes down of Fulham or Brighton, I mean, it could be Newcastle, but if it was one of those teams go down, they will take the other team's players because they both play the same way. They don't score enough goals. And Newcastle drew as well, so that brought them a point away from Fulham. I think they still have a tough run of games. I think they have Chelsea to play as well. Fulham.
The last game of the season, which it seems like will be played with a full set of fans, is Newcastle versus Fulham in Craven Cottage.
Yeah.
That's please. I hope they're equal on points the last day of the season. Please God.
And again, not to say that it's secured, but for Burnley, Crystal Palace, they seem to be kind of putting some space between the relegation battlers.
Massive win for Burnley.
Yeah. Honourable mention, Dwight McNeil, goal of the season. Yeah. That was perfectly in the corner. Hit the the crossbar and the left post right in the corner. I think he rounded Alan, just absolutely skinned Alan and just pinged it right in top corner. Unbelievable goal. I hard to see him staying in Burnley much longer. He's only 21 as well. He's been excellent for them. But yeah, Burnley are probably safe. Crystal Palace are probably safe for their win as well. They beat who was this? West Brom, I think.
West Brom
beat 1-0,
which is a bad loss for West Brom. They're done.
Yeah, West Brom are probably they are done. Yeah, for sure they're done.
You'd literally forget they're in the league sometimes. It just play such nothing football, get beat every week. Nothing. When
they drew at United, I thought, well, Big Sam's going to do it again. But that was the highlight of their comeback. Someone who was back for Crystal Palace, Zaha, and when he plays the win, he I think created the penalty which they scored.
As we talked, the flow chart is Zaha playing. Yes, win.
Yeah, yeah, that seems to be their recipe for winning. He also was the first player to not take a knee at the start of the game for Black Lives Matter. His take on it was that it isn't doing much, that people are still getting abused online, black players are still getting abused online, social media, more than ever, it seems. Yeah. Like maybe it's being reported more widely now, but since it started, there's been loads of examples of all range of like say to Zaha to not as big players. It hasn't changed anything. It's not just going after, like, it's if you're black, like you're getting abused online.
Yeah.
So Zaha said he I'll just read some quotes from him because this is what he said on it. He said, "Why must I even wear Black Lives Matter on the back of my top to show you that we matter? This is all degrading stuff. People constantly want to get me to do Black Lives Matter talks and racial talks. I'm like, I'm not doing it just so you can say Zaha spoke for us, like a box ticking, basically." You'd be inclined to agree with them because you can't just have a scheduled protest, like a morning protest.
It's just part of the game then. It's just like, it's kick off, then you kneel, then the game starts. Like, that doesn't mean anything then after a while. Yeah,
you become desensitized to it because it's every game. It's not disrupting anything. It's not a protest if there's an allotted time that you say, oh yeah, hat tip to, black people, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you move on. Like, you're not helping anybody, you're not doing anything. And Zaha, I think
he's bang on. He's, fair fucks to him. Because I can't imagine that was an easy thing to come out and be like the first person. Like, I'm sure there's other players who are right there with him, like agreeing with him. So
well, I think most players are just doing it. Like, same as the the handshake before games.
Yeah,
like that. Like, how many times has that been brought to sharp focus of how meaningless that was? Like, you may remember from such scandals as John Terry versus Wayne Bridge or Suarez versus Evra. Like that was like. So does anybody shake John Terry's hand? Like, are we saying we respect him as a footballer or as a man? Because if Wayne Bridge isn't, like, just like, oh, this is pointless. It's just totally, let's all shake hands as if we know each other, respect each other.
Well, we both watched the NBA. You're definitely more into it than me, but like, when was it? Was it during the summer?
It was when it first started. When it was the first, it was the James Blake killing in America, and it was the playoffs between the Bucks and the Orlando Magic.
Yeah. And they just decided we're not playing. And then the whole league decided, well, we're not playing if they're not playing. That's a protest. That's demanding change of all the billionaires that own the clubs and stuff. That's big. Like,
because it disrupts regular programming. If you're not disrupting anything, if you're just doing it a little bit at the start of the game, it would be degrading. Kind of, we support you. Like, when they don't. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing, like, it was a player-led movement. It was, I forget who was in the German league started
was
this.
It Dortmund?
Someone plays for I think Dortmund, and then it was Ronaldo and Van Dijk saw that and said, yeah, we'll do that too.
Yeah.
And then all Liverpool do it, and all the teams do it. And then of course the Premier League can't, you can't say no, business as usual. So they go, oh yeah, we're all for it too. And then they've compacted into a small little thing at the start of the game. And like, oh look, we're doing our part. Like, what are you really doing, Premier League?
I don't know if you remember when Spurs were playing Palace a few months ago, where Benteke and Son forgot about it, and they went like chasing after each other, and then had to stop where they were and kneel. But that kind of shows you what the players are actually thinking about, because they're just like, if they forgot it was even happening, that they were just like straight into the game, then surely everyone's just like, oh yeah, kneel first. All right, back to the game. So like, if it's not such a big thing on the player's mind, even that they're going to do it without thinking, then
exactly. That ironically is a teammate of Zaha, Crystal Palace, Benteke. Like, it's not doing anything. It doesn't mean anything more. For like, at the start you could have done it once, but when you do it so every game and becomes this just like he says, a box ticking thing where like, oh, we're doing our bit, but not really putting your money where your mouth is and helping people.
Exactly. Like, even if they did it, like, I get doing it for awareness, but do it. But the Premier League also has to try to do something as well. Like, you can't just do that. All for doing it, but do it and actually try help as well at the same time. Like,
so fair play to Zaha, I think, because it's one of the things that if you don't stand up for it, they just don't do next season, and everyone forgets about it, and things don't change. Nothing gets better. Nothing gets
and now
fixed.
he's brought it back again. Like people are talking about it again, that's savage. That's what you want.
Yeah. What else we have then? We had, I specifically was dogging Ronaldo during our Champions League episode. As were the Italian media, former Euro players call him a pretty boy, too worried about his pretty little face to get in the wall.
Take a ball to the face, what a coward.
And of course, then the rumour starts, the transfer rumour saying that he's finished, he's going to go, might sell him for 30 million. Cristiano Ronaldo for 30 million. Get him out of the club. Yeah. He came back, scored 3 goals, now albeit against a relegation side in the Serie A. But he came back, scored 3 goals, and was pointing to his ear. Yeah. That scene from Gladiator, are you entertained? I laughed the whole thing off as nonsense, I think.
Yeah.
But tough for Ronaldo to still have to continually prove himself. But that's what happens when you leave clubs and go from clubs. It's a new start for you there. So I mean, if he goes to somewhere else, it'll be the same thing, and it only gets harder as he gets older.
I think there's people kind of look at the difference between him and Messi. Like Messi stayed in Barcelona forever. Mm-hmm. Don't really have to prove himself. Like everyone knows Messi's Messi. But I think it's probably a bit more impressive to be willing to go be a legend at another club, go to a next club, be a legend at that club. Like that's mental. That's crazy work, right? Like,
well, if Messi was to go to Napoli or Inter Milan now, it's a new, like, you're not judged on what you did for Barcelona. You're judged on your game starting today. And I think that's what Ronaldo's been judged on. And they haven't won the Champions League, which was bought in for. Yeah. They were winning some leagues beforehand. It's a lesser achievement than will be at other clubs. So he doesn't have a lot to fall back on in terms of his Juve career. So he's always going to come under this kind of pressure. But yeah, I think he was probably most annoyed at the 30 million transfer rumours being put about, which I love because it means they read the rumours. They say, I don't read the papers, but they do. Or they hear about them. Someone tells them about them. Speaking of rumours, actually, did you hear the rumour, the 3-way rumour that would see Ronaldo and Haaland go to United? Did you see this?
There's not a fucking chance they're getting both.
But did you see it, though?
No, I didn't. I saw about Haaland. I've seen separate things, not together.
It's false. No way. Not this time.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened. This one was invented by a writer. Not this time. It never happened. It's false.
Yeah. So fair play to Ronaldo at the end of the day.
Fair play to Ronaldo.
I'm not saying I was wrong about you in the Champions League. You had a stinker, But Ronaldo's back, everybody. I think they're still 10 points off the league in Italy, so that's where he's gone from.
I think it's more Pirlo than anything. Like, it seems like he's a disaster. How are you not very close to winning the league when you're Juventus? Like,
I don't know. I'd say I'll turn around just like Arteta did. He'll win me over like Arteta, like Karaman, like everyone who I was wrong about, which is everyone who I talk about.
In a week, it's a week span usually.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much shit on anybody because it always comes back and hits me in the face because I don't really know what I'm talking about. You had a fan letter, was it? That you wanted to get to?
So we went through all the games there, all the Premier League games, but there was one more match report I wanted to talk about. Actual friend of the pod this time, not footballer who doesn't listen. Our friend Stu messaged me a match report pretty much of a dream he had. And normally when people, I don't know if you're like me, when people tell you about their dream, you're just like, this is stupid, I don't care about this story that didn't happen.
Well, if it relates to me, I'm interested. If I'm in the dream, I'm all ears. If what about me? What did I do in the dream? I want more details.
Well, normally I don't like hearing about people's dreams, but this was incredible. This is a very detailed report. I'll just read it out. So it's long enough now, but it's good.
Don't worry, we can cut the whole thing if you want.
We'll see how it goes.
We can see how this goes.
So, brilliant dream last night. started with me and Stevie G gardening around the back of my old school gym. I was congratulating him on winning the league with Rangers against Hibs at Croke Park. I asked him what it was like to be the FIFA Street World Champion. He got really emotional because everyone was only ever interested in his real football accomplishments. Then we were eating pastrami and ham sandwiches before he had to leave because he had a game against United. So then we cut inside the hall of the gym as if it's the tunnel before the game. Now, it's Arsenal versus United in a pivotal game for the league title. I'm in the starting lineup for Arsenal. Not sure who I am, but I'm not myself. Skirtle is in front of me in the tunnel, and he must be our centre-back, I guess. It's a home game for United, but we're playing it at Highbury in front of mainly United fans.
I thought it was in the gym.
No, they cut through the gym into Highbury.
Right, sorry.
Where United are playing at home. Before we go out onto the field, Keane and Vieira are at each other's throats.
Oh,
Keane is livid. He's trying to convince Vieira that Dwight York isn't carrying an injury and they should give him a few bad tackles early on to see for themselves. This backfires immediately for Keane as York is minced by Paulista and stretchered off after 5 minutes. Also, Keane's face is painted like a mime for the entire game.
What?
The game ebbs and flows for a while. A few minor chances at either end. Then Teddy Sheringham cracks in a bicycle off the post past Simon Mignolet. We come up the other end. Ronaldo has a nibble at Perez on the edge of the box. The ball pops to me and I rifle it in the bottom corner. But the ref says he doesn't want to play advantage. We're furious, giving out to the ref.
I don't want to play advantage.
Keane's telling us to grow up, which is just making things more heated. Keane has white mime paint on. He's telling him to grow up.
Grow up.
Perez stands over the free kick. Damien Duff is in goal for United for some reason.
Whoa.
And decides to only put one man in the wall, even though the free's on the edge of the box. Perez scuffs the free terribly, but it deflects off the one-man wall and goes in straight down the middle of the goal. Duff had dived out of the way at the last minute because he never expected it down the middle. I'll probably bleep this, but Keane calls him a...
He definitely would too.
My brain decided to skip... My brain decided to skip the last goal, but Arsenal won 2-1. It cuts to a Premier League years-esque celebration with a voiceover stating we'd go on to win the league next week as Invincibles, beating Dundee United. Then Archie came in and woke me up.
Oh, amazing. I can try and piece together his YouTube history from that dream.
Yeah.
To see what games he's watching. So many crossovers like Mingale and Skirtle, but also Keane and Vieira. And then Damien Duff as well, for some reason.
I was just... Because you know the way dreams usually are, like they're representative of something in your subconscious?
Yeah.
Imagine trying to break all that.
I'm telling you, it's his YouTube history. He's gone down a rabbit hole there at 3 a.m. and he's gone to sleep having eaten too much cheese.
The headphones were still in while he's asleep and the games are just like going in. He's hearing bits of games. Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
That was great. Thank you for that, Stu, friend of the show.
Great bit of content.
What else do we have then? Will, did you have any other news stories that you wanted to touch on? Anything else that we...
What else did we have this week? Not too sure now.
Yeah, I think we maybe briefly talked about the Premier League standings in terms of relegation and top four. Top four is one of those things like you get sucked into it and you take a step back and go, it's really not that important. But
no, when I realised that was this year when last season United won on the last day against Leicester to get top four.
Yeah,
buzzing, huge result. We're in the Champions League. And then we fucking crashed out in the group stage, and it's just like, well, that didn't matter. It's just waste time.
Yeah.
Like.
think of the financial
Man. Another club, maybe.
Yeah, like am I an accountant for Man United? Like, why do I care about the financial bonus we're going to get? But like, I want to win things.
I get maybe if you want to sign players and they don't want to play in the Europa League, but again, I don't think that really applies to like United and Liverpool and teams like that.
No.
They're big, like they're going to pay a fortune. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's more the worldwide reach they have in terms of they're selling the product of the club rather than the extra million or two you get from Champions League qualification. It's like it's negligible in terms of what they're dealing with. So,
and like I get West Ham or Leicester especially, like that's big because that's the next step. Like if you can get Champions League consistently, then you will attract players. But when it's like Chelsea and United and all battling it out, it doesn't really matter. Who cares? Yeah,
for the money they have. But yeah, it's Chelsea are currently in fourth. They got another draw, unbeaten, I think, under Tuchel. Very unexciting, invincible run they have, Chelsea.
Very dull.
I mean, what a revelation from Frank. Because like, well, at least Frank used to win games now and again. You know what I mean? They've won 2 of the last 5. You know, there were 3 draws, 2-0, I think, in that.
2-0
so I mean,
on the bounce. Yeah.
I think I'd rather Frank if I was a Chelsea fan. But if you're a Chelsea fan, let us know. West Ham lost against United, and they're in 5th. Everton also lost against Burnley, as we said. So that puts a damper on their hopes.
It is, again, the same as every year. It's a battle of who can fuck up more, who does not want it the most.
Yeah, who's going to lose more games between now and the end of the season. Tottenham obviously still in 7th after losing to the mighty Arsenal. I didn't mention it, but José as well, he did himself in big time before the game. Did you see his comments about we look up, not look down?
Oof, well, you're always going to lose after saying that, aren't you?
Well, what's funny is he said, listen, if we were 7 points behind Arsenal, we might look at them, but in fact, they're 7 points behind us. Okay, so you do look behind because you know the exact number. Caught out, and you lost. So it's only 3 points now, you prick. Well, 4 points, but whatever.
I don't look up.
I don't look up the table, but if I was, and I do, they'd be 7 points behind us. So suck it, Arsenal fans. Well, suck it, Jose. We're coming for you. St. Tottenham's Day 2021 is coming. Be ready.
That would be quite embarrassing for Tottenham, I think, to finish behind Arsenal after everything that's happened in the last few years and this season where Arsenal were like battling relegation for like a full month.
Well, speaking of that, they were battling relegation. They're only 2 points behind Liverpool.
That's insane.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah. It turns around so quick.
Liverpool, of course, they got some mid-table mediocrity to deal with tonight. 8th plays 13th, Liverpool versus Wolves. We said we didn't need to even look at that game. Yeah, who cares? That sounds nice. Someone will win, someone will lose. That's football.
No difference.
And last, of course, we've been putting it off, Will, because our 5-game winning streak has been snapped. Ghost Tep go down 3-0.
Well, we're no strangers to failure at Ghost Tep with our back-to-back relegations, but
well, this is what I was going to say that, you know, and Karaka and the Karakuk, MKE and the Karakukshu, they're battling relegation themselves, and this win has taken them out of relegation into 17th. So fair play to them. But you know what? You might enjoy this win, but when you get relegated this year and then the next year and then 2 more times successively, then you come back, then you beat us, then we'll talk.
Yeah, then we'll talk.
Because that's what we do. That's what we've done.
Yeah.
Halil Akbanar bizarrely taking off in the first half.
Karaman out. I'm going to say it, Carl. What's he thinking?
Karaman, you've won me over in the last couple of weeks. Don't ruin it.
Yeah,
right? Don't ruin all your good work now. But we're 1-0 down at half time. You take off our captain, our top scorer, our talisman. We go on to lose 3-0. What are you thinking?
Yeah, what are you thinking? Also, for those who don't know, bandwagon wheel is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, bandwagon wheel, we pick a random team from a random country at the start of the year to show the bizarreness of supporting a team in a different country, like we do with Nurse Respectably. This year, it's Ghost Tep.
We're just so furious.
We're still in ninth. We're safe, I suppose. But that Europa League spot is what we really want. But look, you're going to sew back Benar in the first half. You're out of your goddamn mind, Karaman.
Look, and with the Euros coming up, we want Halil getting getting all the minutes he deserves. We want to be following him.
If that's what this is about, Unal Karaman, if you're trying to, if you're jealous of the limelight that Halil is getting, you're trying to take that away from him to get him out of the Euros, you got to do a lot better than that. You're a day late and $1 short, pal. He's going to the Euros. He's going to lead Turkey to Euro glory. Yeah. You heard it here first.
Are Turkey in the Euros?
They are. I looked it up earlier. They are in the Euros.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
For sure. I did look that up. I was looking up the other players who he hasn't made a cap yet, Halil Akbanar.
Well, this is a breakout season. Yeah.
This season, decent season last season. 27 in his prime. This is the year he really makes his mark on the international stage, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can't wait.
Yeah. Who do we have next?
Next, we have Simpapur, I think. Yeah, Sivasapur. We have Sivasapur next, game week 31.
Get into the business.
I'm not sure what they are on the table. They're in the business on the table, I think. Are they? They're a bit harder than us. No. Oh, perfect. They're 10th. They're 10th. That's
a 6-pointer.
If they win, they go ahead of us. If we win, we'll probably more than likely stay in 9th because all the other teams keep on winning.
Well, Carl, we don't look down the table. We look up.
Yeah, listen, if we were 2 points behind Sivasspor, we might, be looking at them. But as it is, they're 2 points behind us, so we don't even know that they are 2 points behind us. So we'll see you next week, maybe, if we're looking. We probably won't, though. So watch out, Sivasspor.
Yeah.
That'll do it, I think. That was our ep.
We call out the socials.
Yeah, the socials
I think we're
are...
now, 5-6 episodes in? I'm yet to write the social medias down on a notepad or a word form. Every week we scramble to find them.
I guess, if I was to guess my own social media handle, I would guess that it is No Nonsense Pod on Twitter. Or maybe a No Nonsense Pod.
This is shocking.
Then perhaps on the Instagram it's no_nonsense_pod. Hit up on that. We post all the time, man. It's just clips. Really, really good shit on there.
Yeah. More so on the Instagram than the Twitter.
The Twitter, I don't think a lot of people are on Twitter. Maybe that's what it is.
If you have tips on how to grow a Twitter,
hit us up. For sure, hit us up because I think I have 4 followers and 2 of them are us. So we might need to give that some care and attention. When's the next game? Is there Champions League this week?
I believe there is. Let's have a look-see, a little preview of what's to come. We should be doing another bonus ep this week, I'd say. Last one.
Yeah, if there's a Champions League, we'll do another ep for sure. Tomorrow we have Real Madrid, Atalanta. This is probably on Tuesday, so this evening we have Real Madrid, Atlanta, Man City, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and then on Wednesday night there is Bayern, Lazio, and Chelsea, Atletico Madrid. So we'll probably do a little episode there on Thursday, maybe come up for you on Friday, recapping those games. If they're as good as last week, it'll be another great episode. And you know what? We nearly got it in. We nearly got the Pelé documentary in this week. Just not enough time this week. We got to push that next week again.
It's so close. There's so much to talk about in it as well.
Very close. And we nearly get into it because Ronaldo has officially passed Pelé on the all-time goals list. Just not enough time for Pelé. Maybe next week, folks. Tune in for Pelé.
Maybe next week. And there's just it was just so full of things to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely were very prepared for this episode. We talked at length about many good things. So sorry, Pelé. Maybe next week. Sweet. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.